The story starts. Hiroto just arrived on Academy Island with the latest technology. Everyone here is free to challenge each other to games and earn stars to become one of the strongest, known as the 7 stars. As he was lost, he bumped into Sarasa Seonji, who then took the liberty to explain all those things he wasn't well aware of. From the device he is holding, one can only see stats for people who are ranked lower than you. So as she brings him to where he is supposed to go, suddenly the sprinkler splashes water on her. Now, she thought this was all part of his ploy to trick her, so she got mad and challenged him to a game. Something he too isn't aware of because a lower-ranked person can only send a challenge and set the rules of the game. Hiroto was just pressing, so he sent a blank request, forcing Sarasa to think he could beat her in any game. And so she decides on a hard version of a staring contest in which if you show any sort of facial expression, you lose. They take turns, and the one who is in turn can make any facial expression. She is further appalled that he thinks he can further beat her without using any abilities. So as she summons a sword, trying to make him show an exhausted face, the crowd starts building up. Then the sprinkler splashes her again. She thinks this is all part of his plan, as she realizes he might want to get her all embarrassed. And screaming in embarrassment, she did. She lost. Hiroto is now summoned by the headmistress of Aime Academy, Natsumi Ekinos. What he did was pretty normal, but he also committed the biggest taboo. Sarasa from Alka Academy held the top spot and is the only 7-star on the island. Furthermore, her family are the founders of this island. She is Masamune granddaughter. Her grandpa is going to do everything he can to protect the family name. While being expelled is the next logical step, there is still hope for him. When he defeated Sarasa, he obtained her very rare red star. Only 10-15 of these are available on the island. This special star allows him to lie. He is going to lie and pretend to be a 7-star despite being just a single star. Natsumi knows this, as she was a previous red star holder. Not many students know about this effect either. As Natsumi has her ulterior motive, Hiroto too has his reasons for coming to this island to look for someone, and hence, he agrees to cooperate with her and play this lying game. So after a bluff speech, Natsumi is laughing her ass off about all that boldness. As he goes back to his dorm, Sarasa pulls him over. She is still puzzled as to why he did not expose her. Sarasa is not the real daughter of Masamune. In fact, she is Rina Akabane, and she was just pretending to be that. She used the red star to that effect. Hiroto then explains that he didn't know anything, and that all that happened was just a coincidence. And this means if Sarasa isn't the real granddaughter, Masamune wouldn't go after him, and hence there was no reason for him to be a 7-star in the first place. Hiroto returns to his dorm, and this comes with a cute maid. Shiruki Hanji looks like a shy girl, but she doesn't like all this setup either. Made by Natsumi to do all this, it is valid that she has a grudge against the headmistress. With that, the duo thinks they can get along. Hanji then starts to explain all the basics since she will be serving him. As one who also knows about his lies, she explains that now that he has beaten Sarasa, he will garner a lot of attention and challenges. However, because he is only a single star, this means he will have low-level abilities associated with it, meaning every fight is like a boss fight to him, especially those who have 6 stars and only need a win to take that final star. But Hanji and her group of companies will assist in that and play along with his lies. They're going to use a hacking system, and they're going to cheat by doing that. Ami Kadia introduces herself as the company's electronics expert, and they're going to show their great service and skills to him as Hanji has Hiroto accept this particular challenge. We don't see how it went, but Hiroto won big time, and he is impressed with company and will totally rely on them from now on. Hiroto then heads to Aime and is shown around by classmates Fuka Tata and Yuuki Tsuji. They won the right to do so after holding a class battle royale. Soon, Hiroto gets another challenge request from Haru Yurisaka. This game is big enough to warrant some live broadcasts organized by the media group known as Libra. Commentators will be Suzerain Kazami and Sarasa, the special guest. In this game, whoever races to the finish line in whatever transport wins. Yurisaka thinks she is confident in her speed, but Hiroto is confident in not losing, so as she revs up her bike and starts accelerating, after halfway, suddenly her bike stops dead in its tracks, and she is thrown off course. Hiroto makes his slow walk to the finish. A flashback shows Heimji briefing him about the nullifying abilities Urasaka would be using against him. To counter that, Hiroto was to use up all his ability slots using complete disable. For his level, he needs to use it all. As Hiroto piles on the lies of the abilities he used to win equals, including an ability to secure Urasaka's safety, it was Kageya's hacking that stopped the bike. Later, Sarasa meets with him to talk. She reveals the truth. The real Sarasa got kidnapped about a year ago when she just arrived on the island. However, the kidnappers did not make any demands. Because the Seonji family never had their kids out in public before high school, it was convenient for them to get Rina to play Sarasa since nobody knows what she looks like. There is no telling when the real Sarasa will return. Until then, she must protect her reputation. When the truth is out, they too will realize Hiroto is a fake, and he won't be able to stay on this island. Not even Natsumi can do anything to help him. That's why she will help him play along with those lies. As long as he keeps winning, their lies will be protected. Hiroto also reveals his reason for coming here. He is looking for a childhood friend whom he has never seen for years and is believed to be on this island. They exchange contacts to stay in touch. The student, Saren, one of Akabane's stalkers, challenges Hiroto to a game. Akabane has a strategy meeting with Hiroto and Heimji, who are aware she is pretending to be Sarasa. Saren is a legitimate 5-star player, and his game involves collecting cards from around the district and then competing in a 5-round card draw. Unfortunately, his ability for emergency mobilization allows him to summon 300 fellow stalkers to help him, and they collect 16 cards very quickly. Urasaka decides to help Hiroto, and with her bike speed, she collects 2 cards, but Hiroto is injured. When he tries to keep playing, Akabane reveals her secret. Sarasa wasn't kidnapped. She wanted a normal high school life, so Akabane smuggled her to the mainland under an alias. Sarasa plans to return after graduation. Hiroto is impressed Akabane so easily fooled the Seonjis and hints Akabane might be his ideal woman. Hiroto realizes that, as a fake 7-star, he can technically use an ability, Rule Breaker, to change one rule mid-game. He thus tricks Saren into thinking he used Rule Breaker, when, in fact, he used Fake Screen to manipulate Saren's phone. Saren mistakenly discards all his cards, leaving Hiroto with a single card, winning the game. Akabane attempts to ask Hiroto what he meant by ideal woman, but decides against it. Heimji sees Natsumi, who asks about the number of stars Hiroto has. As the holder of a colored star, he cannot further take normal stars. However, he can still take those who hold unique stars. Saren held the indigo star, and since Hiroto won, he took that star as compensation. Hence, he now has 2 stars. This means that if he battles and defeats those with unique stars, he is going to get all 7 colored stars. Natsumi doesn't bat an eyelid to admit that she is using Hiroto for her own gain. But likewise, he too is using her for his. The question is, as Hiroto battles more people, he will be facing more dangers. What will Heimji do? She asserts that she will be by his side. And soon Heimji is transferred into Hiroto's class, just in time before the announcement of this trial game. Basically, in this mock game held around the district, students can challenge each other. Although they won't lose stars, they will fail to enter the next round. The winner will be the one who survives the longest, and the top 5 will be able to enter the inter-academy contest next month. Later, Heimji and Hiroto discuss this, and this trial game is also dangerous because all one needs to do is get close enough to initiate the battle. When that happens, a state of conflict arises, and others cannot send invitations to interrupt or join the battle. This state will be in operation for 24 hours, and if no winner comes out of it, both will lose. The best strategy for Hiroto to be at his best is to run away. Soon, Noa Akazuki pops up before them and asks if the duo are dating. Obviously not. Then she flirts with him just to get to know him before leaving. Later, Hiroto goes to see Natsumi. The latter explains that she has pulled strings to put Heimji in the same class as him. This guilt trip is to have him do some tasks for her. Firstly, there have been outside forces trying to interfere with the upcoming event. He is to investigate it. Next, somebody has stolen a unique star, the green star in particular. Since Hiroto is a unique star wielder, he is most likely to be targeted. Thus, his job is to uncover the culprit. Not only that, His third mission is to be the strongest, and he must win the green star from the thief. Hiroto employs the running away strategy as well as using some jamming devices to prevent other students in close proximity from challenging him. Back home, Kaguya appears in the flesh to help out further with the plan. Something about overlapping Hiroto and Haimji's data means any requests he receives will go to Haimji and turn her into the scapegoat. So as Haimji fights on his behalf, he continues running. However, with approximately 200 survivors gunning for Hiroto's ass, can he outrun them all? He could have with all the data, but somehow Noah's data didn't pop up on screen, and thus he bumped into her. Then she has him locked in a stranglehold position. With time running out and other students approaching fast, Hiroto is forced to enter a state of conflict with Haimji. Sly Noah then gets up and leaves, claiming she has already achieved her goal. That night, when Haimji goes out to do some errands, Hiroto receives a call from her, but it is Noah who answers instead. Putting his mate on, she apologizes that she is no longer able to lose their game tomorrow. Kaguya, Hiroto, and Akabane discuss the game they're playing. It's a ranking card game. The card with a higher ranking wins, and at the end, the one with the most cards wins. They also discuss how Haimji is going to use the forced control ability, in which he will move 3 turns at first. At this rate, she will already have a huge lead. More strategy discussion is needed because some of the cards have their own unique abilities. Once the discussion is over, there is a short distraction because Akabane sleeps with Hiroto. In the same room but on different beds. The next day, Hiroto and Haimji meet for their game as Noah watches. As it begins, it all goes as planned. Haimji used forced control to take the lead. Hiroto then starts thinking about this whole thing and what Haimji said. Then he realizes that, if he wins, he will lose. Hence, this whole trial is just a trap. He has Kaguya cancel their strategy. Hiroto makes his moves, but with all his hands, he loses to Haimji. This makes Noah mad. When they have to play the final card in their hand, it seems Hiroto activates some Trojan horse card to take half of Haimji's cards. Because of that, both sides have the same number of cards, and it ends in a draw. With the state of conflict ended and neither has lost, both are still in the running of the trial. They force Noah to reveal the truth, as Haimji notes, knowing her handphone was bugged by Noah, and that's why she couldn't contact Hiroto. Noah starts to break down, saying that she worked so hard for this and can't believe this is happening. Long story short, she is jealous that when Hiroto was the new transfer student, he became the most popular student on the island. Before that, it was Noah. She believes he cheated, unlike her, who worked hard, and that's why she plotted this revenge. However, she almost revealed she had a mastermind collaborator behind this. But Noah isn't going to give up yet. She hints that she has also installed a program inside Haimji's phone that will destroy all her data, which means expelling her from the island. This is an illegal move that will have everyone hate her, but crazy Noah has gone too far to back down. She then takes Haimji hostage. She wants Hiroto to play a real game where they bet their real stars. He must lose to her in front of everyone if he wants his maid back. Hiroto believes she is the one who stole the green star, as she knows too much information. The game begins. Hiroto and Noah have to find their opponent's partner in this building. This treasure hunting game has some rules, and you can also move your partner to prevent your opponent from reaching it, as well as post questions with answers you can't lie. And with their abilities in place, they turn something simple into a whole lot more complicated. With the help of Akabane's deduction, Hiroto manages to guess where Haimji is located. This makes Noah even more desperate, as she even resorts to placing Haimji in some random space. But that too is defeated because of the combo's reasoning and deduction. When Hiroto finds Haimji and wins the game, Noah has another trick up her sleeve. This time, using the ability of Alter Fate to erase Hiroto's answer, he nullified his win. And just when Noah thought she had found Akabane and won the game, she was right back at her because Hiroto also pulled off another tricky ability. This pinch hitter allows him to trade places with the target. He does so with Haimji, and this means Akabane won against Haimji and not Hiroto. And whatever traps she placed in Haimji's phone prior to the game have been transferred to her phone. So this means she can't hold Haimji hostage anymore, and her plan has all backfired. Noah's loss means she must reveal the truth. She claims she is a smart girl, and there is proof. However, such intelligence cannot guarantee her place in the elite, as the school also places importance on family lineage. She felt all her efforts were useless, so she thought of stopping being normal just to fit in. She did really well for her first year, and perhaps if she wins the inter-academy battle, she will become famous. Rather, it was like a reward for all the effort she put in. Hiroto ruined all that with his appearance. Desperate, she made a deal with the mastermind, Makoto Kurahashi, who is the headmaster for District 12. He told her to cheat and do whatever it takes to steal Hiroto's stars. Do that, and he'll grant her wish. Since she was also scared, she wouldn't want to go against him. Hiroto is going to help her get justice and bring this guy down. He is the strongest player on this island. Kurahashi berates Noah for being useless. With her failure, she is going to pay back all that he has given her. This means becoming her slave and doing as he wishes. However, she is not afraid because she has Hiroto and his crew. They waltz in and have recorded all the threats he has made. With that, Kurahashi has been relieved of his duties. As Hiroto and Noah are the top two of Aime in this trial game, a final battle will determine who is top. However, Noah claims she doesn't have the right, as she reveals all the dirty tricks she has done and wants to withdraw. Hiroto then shows the polls that 99% forgive her for what she has done, and this means people do pay attention to her and that she is special because of the efforts she puts in. As such, Hiroto will be the one to withdraw and has already sent his application. This is not for free, as in exchange, Noah will give her a green star. With Noah as Aime's top and Hiroto as the runners-up, the others who will join them in the inter-academy game are Haimji, Nana Sasamiya, and the student council president himself, Shinji Inamoto. Later, Hiroto meets up with Akabane as she brings him to an ability shop where she got the rare pinch hitter card. The condition is that the owner will have the buyer do weird stuff, and this time they have to enter as a couple. They're just holding hands, and the owner takes a liking to them and allows it even though they're just shaking hands. Back home, as Haimji and Akabane bathed together with Hiroto in their swimsuits, Hiroto passed out. Then the Aime quintet met to discuss strategy for the inter-academy contest. It's going to be hard since Shinji and Nanes don't get along. In this game called Astral, the goal is to conquer as many polygon spots as possible in the center of District 0. Players are divided into roles and can use spells. Using the latter renders the player unable to make any movements. You win by dominating all areas or destroying all other teams. If that cannot be met, the team with the biggest area at the end of the play wins. There is also some movement value, in which the lower your number, the more spaces you can move. They discuss their positions, and Hiroto has to be the commander in order for his lie to be safe. However, Shinji wants to be the commander, and this sparks a debate about why they are better. Because a commander can swap roles with others, Hiroto suggests he take on the role first, and if he isn't up to Shinji's expectations, he will let him have that role. Shinji's condition is for him to take down 3 commanders on the 3rd day. With no other options, Hiroto agrees. Late that night, Hiroto receives a distress call from Akabane. There is trouble brewing, because a 3rd Sarasa has appeared. Impostor Sarasa makes contact. She throws down a challenge for either one of them to defeat Hiroto in the Astral. The winner will get to take over Sarasa's identity. If Hiroto wins, he can choose which Sarasa to be with, and he can also do whatever he pleases with the impostor. And if Sarasa doesn't agree to play, the impostor will strip her naked. Hiroto then goes to beg Kaguya for help as they talk about how Astral also allows voting from other students to predict the event's winners, although that only comes into effect in the second half. Then they discuss the abilities that they want to use. Haimji plans to use a rare ability called Replacement, but since it is very expensive, she'll have the company buy it for her. The first day of Astral is here. Each team is placed on the board. Aime tests out certain skills and moves, and the highlight is this freeze time action that renders all actions unavailable for a certain amount of time when one occupies a space. This leaves them vulnerable in case the enemy attacks. At the end of the first day, Aoka occupies the top spot with the most areas held, while Aime has the most votes. During dinner, Saren makes known his challenge to Aime's side. But Aime talks about the other potential threats, like Talia Kirigeya from Shinra High School, as this dude is known to use violent methods to get what he wants. Then there is also Senri Kurugi from Tsuyuri Girls Academy, and she has a dangerous ability in which, if all conditions are met, her one-shot kill will take you down in a single move. Then Aimee argues over who is to sleep in which room. Noah and Haimji tussle over Hiroto, while Shinji and Nanase don't want each other. Until Akabane drops in to stop this farce and lays down the obvious rules that boys and girls sleep separately. Late that night, as Hiroto can't sleep, he takes a walk and finds Tsumugi Shina having trouble getting some stuff. He helped her get it, and now she's interested in him. She claims she has a sister in Libra and is currently in a game that runs concurrently with Astral and MTCG. Hiroto then hangs out with her, and this makes her happy. She just drops asleep when she feels sleepy. Hiroto brings her back to her room, but thankfully, nothing untoward happens. The next day, Kanade Yuakawa of Ibara Academy wants to make a temporary alliance with Aimee. However, Nanase suddenly starts attacking them. This forces Aimee to also follow her move. In the end, Aimee manages to win as Shinji chews out Nanase for this reckless move that she also made last year that cost them. At the end of the second day, Alka is still at the top of the occupied spots, while Aimee is still popular with the votes. The teammate betrays his group members and eliminates them all. This traitor turns out to be the Sarasa impostor. She can disguise herself as other members, and many teams have already fallen for this tactic. Aimee's side needs to do something. Hiroto later goes to see Akabane to talk about this, and this impostor thing has turned the whole game upside down. It is no surprise that many teams will self-destruct over such suspicions. Hiroto has a plan. This trend continues on the third day, so when a black mist descends upon Aimee, this worries Hiroto because, now that their visions are impaired, he is unsure if anyone is replaced by the impostor. When the mist is lifted, Shinji and Nanase start accusing each other of being imposters. Luckily, it is time for the afternoon break. But unfortunately, both suspect each other so much that they don't want to participate in the afternoon match. So it's up to Hiroto, Haimji, and Noah. Soon, they will be flanked by two schools. One of them is Tsuyuri. Hiroto has the girls go after the other weaker school, while he alone faces Tsuyuri. Kurugi thinks he is making a mistake, but soon Hiroto unleashes several blasts to take out one of them. Haimji pretended to go with Noah, but actually masked herself to support Hiroto. Kurugi unleashes a devastating attack that drains a lot of Haimji's health. Aimee starts running, and when Tsuyuri attacks, Haimji uses some calculated ability to return the offensive, taking out another Tsuyuri member. More running around until Tsuyuri steps on traps laid by Noah. Another one down. At this point, Kurugi has counted all the spells Hiroto has used and believes he has none. So she sacrifices her only member left to gain strength to gain her one-shot kill. Surprisingly, Hiroto can still avoid it. Apparently Hiroto still has some spells left, and it only looked like he had none because his ability changed her control visuals. So she saw and misjudged everything. Suddenly, freeze time activates for Hiroto. Tsuyuri activates her electronic interference trump card, but then leaves. This leaves Hiroto puzzled, because why did she not finish him off? Noah returns after wiping out the other, weaker team. But she notes that, after doing so, their territory did not increase. Hiroto fears Kurahashi might be behind this. He has a suggestion and needs Haimji and Noah to fully trust him. Later, Shinji apologizes to Hiroto for being arrogant. After watching their match, he realizes his arrogance got his team into a lot of trouble. Hiroto asks if he really suspected Nanase as the impostor. Actually no, he just did it to smite her because if she had stayed in the game, she would have fallen apart. They catch Nanase eavesdropping on the whole thing, so they start arguing. Hiroto shows them hidden footage of Nanase's sudden attack on Ibara because she noticed the enemy was preparing a sneak attack. But soon after they made up, Hiroto dropped the bombshell that he had been eliminated from the game. A flashback shows that he shot himself for that self-elimination. This is not only to win his bet with Shinji, but rather to counter the impostor. Because now she has groups working under her, Aimee is at the bottom of her hit list. They cannot win if they play by the book. At the end of the day, Seijo Academy has the most votes. Hiroto and Akabane talk to Kazami about the impostor. At first, she was unwilling to talk out of fear that she would land them in trouble. But she can't bear the burden alone, so she lets it all slip. Apparently, This imposter is not affiliated with any academy and has no right to play. She even has an ally on the Astral committee. Now that she has all sorts of cheating advantages, if she wins, she can cause the biggest disaster. And the worst part is that Libra will take the fall for everything. Hiroto has a plan. Along with Heimji, the trio cramp themselves in a box as Kazami pushes them through the security into her Libra command center. It is deduced that when the imposter is in the top spot, everyone else will be tied for second. This explains Kyoruga's actions to escape, as it would be better if their team tied for second place. The main plan for now is for the academies to join forces. But since Hiroto is out, he can actually get back into the game via another event called MTCG. The winner of this tough game will earn the right to return as the wild card. Hiroto soon realizes the big boss of MTCG is none other than Tsumugi. The girls are not impressed if he is turning into a lolicon, but they put their trust in him to get back into Astral quickly. Hiroto enters MTCG as Kazami explains the rules. As Hiroto came into the game late, he needs to rush as there is not enough time. A girl from Tsuuri agrees to exchange her card with his for a reasonable price. This is because she wants Hiroto's help to free Kyorugi from the imposter's clutches. She blames herself and the others for being too weak to help her. Hiroto won't be doing it for Kyorugi, but he will definitely defeat the imposter. Now we see Hiroto battling and defeating opponents, even doing the unthinkable by selling his precious card to earn lots of coins. He manages to get it back via many wins. Even Tatara and Tsuji purposely power up their own cards so they can give them to him for free because they trust he can bring up Aime's name. Now we see Yuakawa bragging and boasting as he prepares to face off against Tsumugi. But as he powers up his familiar, all that is for naught because Tsumugi easily defeats him. Tsumugi then calls Hiroto to face her. He then realizes that if you get a higher number than her, you lose because her numbers are inverted and negative. Hiroto then powers up his familiar. With Kageya's hacking, he brings Tsumugi's familiarity back into positive territory to tie with his. With that, he wins. Hiroto then accuses her of being the imposter, and she doesn't bat an eyelid to admit that. She is so happy and hopes to finish things off in Astral. Realizing that Kurohashi is definitely behind this, Hiroto rushes back to Astral as he makes a stunning announcement of his return. This includes revealing the imposter as a wild card thrown in by the enemy just for fun. So to avoid further humiliation, he suggests the academies team up with him to stand a chance against her. Everyone takes this chance to form a truce agreement with Aime. With 5 academies now aligned, Hiroto, their leader, announces to go on the offensive. With Hiroto back in the game, he mentions the only way to beat the imposter is to use Kyorugi's one-shot kill. But she is on the enemy's side, so they need to defeat her and make her listen. We see both sides having skirmishes. The main bulk is Hiroto's team facing off against Tsuyuri's side. Eventually, with all the tricks, Tsuyuri is the last one left and is also defeated. Some guilt trip by Hiroto, she gave in to the imposter before the fight was over, and that made her girls sad. That's enough for her to join his side. Meanwhile, Akabane is having a hard time. Everyone on her side has been wiped out. Only she is left. The enemy side also now consists of Kirigeya, Saren, and Shizuku Minami of Rosalia. The trio is hunting for Akabane but stumbles into our Aime quintet. Another round of fighting. Kirigeya puts up a tough fight and manages to kill off both Shinji and Nanace. Then it's like Noah has a death wish and goes to let herself be killed by him. This was to activate some traps to bind him, but he easily destroyed them. Although Hiroto has his tricks, the ultimate one is Saren betraying Kirigeya. Hiroto made a pact with him before the games. He agreed because of his loyalty to Sarasa. However, Kirigeya won't go out quietly and tries to take Hiroto with him. Only Heimji blocks it and bears the brunt of it. Now that Saren's betrayal is known, he is forced to take himself out to protect his position. Hence, leaving Sarasa's care in Hiroto's hands. Back to Akabane. She is having a hard time fighting the imposter. When the conditions are right, Kyorugi unleashes her one-shot kill, but she fails. And just like that, their trump card gets taken out. The shock on Akabane's face felt as though it were the end of the world. They ran out of options now that today's game has ended. Akabane continues to be in shock and despair over how she survived and only 3 survivors left. Hiroto sees Akabane and tells her something. It's about the final game. Later, he does the same to his Aime comrades. He tells them to put their trust in him. As he returns, he bumps into a Tsumugi, who drags him to her room to play. It's a chance for him to ask why she ended up doing all this. She explains that she hates studying and prefers to play games. Thankfully, as a genius, she finished all her mandatory education at an early age. But then she realized she couldn't start playing games until she got into high school. Not wanting to miss out, she modified her device to fake an account on this island. Then she got a call from Kurahashi to join Astral and to make a war declaration on Hiroto. The next day is the final Astral game. As Tsumugi has captured the most areas and the highest support, all she needs to do is wait out and win. But that is when Hiroto reminds her of the promise she made before Astral started. Remember, either Tsumugi or Akabane must beat Hiroto to win. This means their position in Astral doesn't matter. But if neither wins, obviously Hiroto wins. This means Hiroto can just run away and lose the game, but in that sense, he wins against their bet. Akabane won't have it that way since Aoka will lose. Hence, it is a lose-lose situation for everyone. And that's why Hiroto suggests a game inside Astral known as Crossboard, a turn-based game. Tsumugi is confused and unsure at first, but seeing she can't pass a chance to beat him, she happily accepts. The whole board of Astral is condensed, and they have to mark and pinpoint the enemy base to win. Tsumugi goes first but fails to nail it. From here on, Hiroto's occupied spaces are now reduced to 2 spots. This is a checkmate for Akabane and Tsumugi. Because unless they can pinpoint which is his real base, if they choose the wrong one, it will give the other an advantage. And hence, both are forced to protect him. Things start to change as corrupted data from past players starts invading the board. Kurahashi is desperately trying to cheat. However, those imposters are defeated as Shinji is giving Nane's orders on how to defeat them. Kurahashi is shocked to see that the players who were out of the game are back. Then he realizes Libra is in cohorts to falsify the data, but he has a trump card. He calls Kirigaya to do his stuff, but surprisingly, Kirigaya refuses. Despite all the threats Kurahashi throws, Kirigaya won't give in. He isn't worth it and has lost. Kurahashi's next cheating move is to hack into Tsumugi and forcefully move her body to his wishes. But this hacking allows Hiroto to trace where he is as he makes a courtesy call to tell him he has lost. Because now that his whereabouts are found, Haimji and the other players head over there. Haimji hacks the data back and reverts the game back to normal, allowing Hiroto to win as Tsumugi gets eliminated. Tsumugi is fine with losing, but is sad to think what she did was wrong. Hiroto has no right to answer that, and before she starts crying, Kazami is here to ask if she had fun. She had fun. Then it is all okay because everybody is happy. So just like that, her sins were all absolved. Aime wins Astral as Hiroto narrates about how everything starts with a lie. But it was that lie that saved others and gained him many friends. Now it is a lie that just doesn't belong to him anymore. For the sake of his friends, he will continue to lie.